Hello and welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports. I'm Tony Trabert, coming to you from the great Stade Roland Garros in Paris. This is the 1987 French Open Tennis Championships, and today is Women's Semifinals Day. And with me, as usual, is Fred Stolle and Betsy Nagelson. And Fred, the second match today is a very interesting matchup between Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova.
Tony, a rivalry that's gone on for the past 15 years, and last year we saw the best women's final, I think, that we've telecast over the years here between the two of them. This time, however, they're both in the same half. Very unusual circumstances, and as Martina said, normally when her and Chris play, whoever wins that match basically wins the title. This time they've got to go on and play a final against one of the up-and-coming teenage stars, so it's a little different. I think Chris Evert has been playing particularly well this week. Martina has been struggling. She's gone to a heavier racket. Dr. Renee Richards is over here to advise her on strategy. However, I'm going to go with Chris to get to the final once more.
Okay, so Fred picks Chris, and now the other match, Betsy, is between two teenagers, Gabriela Sabatini and Steffi Graf, who many think perhaps is the best player in the world right now.
That's right, and I think that'll be the rivalry for the next 10 or 15 years because they're going to be around. They're both 17, with Steffi turning 18 in about 10 days. But Steffi has some added pressure. I mean, the players and the press are touting her as a future #1, perhaps by the end of this year. But she's on a real roll. She's won 6 tournaments this year. She's looking very awesome. There's strong forehand, and she's very strong mentally as well. Sabatini has such a flair for the game, very graceful and a good mover, but I feel that Steffi will just be a little bit too strong, a little overpowering today.
Okay, Betsy, thank you very much. So coming up, the first match, Gabriela Sabatini and Steffi Graf.
And the players are warming up on the center court, and we'll take a look at Gabriela Sabatini, who's 17 years of age, from Argentina, seeded 7th here. Her WITA ranking is number 8. Her 86 prize money, $264,000 plus, and her career prize money, $502,000 plus. Grand Slam history: semifinals of the French Open in 1985, semifinals of Wimbledon in '86, and a round of 16 loser in the U.S. Open in 1986. And as you can see, her round progress, she really had one 3-set match against Camille Benjamin in the 3rd round and has played very, very well, though her head-to-head record with Steffi Graf is not that good. They've played 6 times, and Steffi Graf has won all 6.
Première manche, au service, Mademoiselle Graf. Silence, s'il vous plaît.
Graf to serve. Best shot in tennis, Fiery.
Nice to start off that way. You think luck may be with you if you get a net caught on that first point.
Everyone talks about the physical prowess of Martina Navratilova. I'm very impressed with Steffi Graf's physique, how strong she is. She's a big, strong gal that can really move.
She played Gabriela Sabatini in the final of the Italian, and they had 2 very close sets, and then with Sabatini, who finished up getting a little leg weary, and Graf won that 3rd set and that title. She won that 3rd set 6-love. Maybe a little nervous start from Steffi Graf. Has not won a Grand Slam title yet, and everybody thinks that this may be the first one.
point and a service break. The first game for Gabriela Sabatini.
Let's have a look at the player profile of young Steffi Graf, age 17, of course, from West Germany. Seeded 2 here in this event. WITA ranking is number 2. 1986 prize money, $612,118. Career prize money, nearly $1.25 million.
15-0.
5 points in a row for Sabatini.
Zero. Zero.
7 points in a row thus far won by Sabatini. Graf has yet to win a point.
Pretty confident start. This stage, all errors coming from Steffi Graf's racket. And of course that big winning forehand from Sabatini that broke serve in the first game.
Blustery day, Fred. It's going to be tough on the easy balls, the overheads and things. A lot of wind.
G. Mademoiselle Sabatini.
So 8 points in a row won by
Mademoiselle Sabatini
Sabatini.
mène 2-0.
Steffi Graf has gone up, I think, probably to change racket. Graf to serve. Betsy mentioned a lot of pressure on her because everyone expecting her to win.
Zero.
Continue with the profile from Steffi Graf. Grand Slam history, semi-finals to the French Open 86, round of 16 Wimbledon in 84 and 85, and the semi-finals to the US Open 85 and 86. Just hasn't found the range at all yet with the forehand.
Not really rallying either, trying to get the field sort of going after everything.
30.
Enrique Morea, one of Argentina's great players, his wife Alicia there. This is just the end of the replay. And the sitter overhead by Graf. That's the kind of point I think she should try to play early in the match to get more of a rally going.
Good depth there from Sabatini, right deep into the backhand corner.
Avantage, Mademoiselle
That's
Graf.
got to be the play with Graf if you can do it, because the forehand of Steffi is such a great weapon that she tries to run around that backhand most of the time. She's on the board.
Mademoiselle Graf.
So Graf holds serve. Sabatini leads 2-1 first set. And we'd like to apologize for the quality of our audio. We understand it's not what we'd like it to be. We are taking the French feed, and our friends are doing the best they can for us. We hope you'll stick with us. Sabatini to serve 2-1. First set has a break. Fine shot.
There you see how Steffi Graf reached this semi-final round. First 3 rounds were pretty easy. Then she ran into Helen Khaleesi from Canada. Khaleesi had set point, won that. Graf got out of it, won at 7-6, 6-2, and then Manuela Maleva 6-4, 6-1 to get to this point.
Great, and watching Sabatini, it seems to me that she's cleaned up her ground strokes a little bit. They're not the flailing type of strokes, particularly on the backhand side that she used to try last year. She also doesn't seem to toss the ball as far to her left on the serve, arch the back, which was very difficult on her.
40-0.
I agree with you there, Tony. I think her new coach, Angel Jimenez, who used to play Davis Cup for Spain, she credits him with quietening things down and giving her a better mental approach to the game.
G, Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Well, again, you got to credit Betsy Nagelson, because in her opening
Mademoiselle
she said
Sabatini
that
mène par 3-1.
she feels that Graf must have a little extra pressure on her. She has not lost since last December. Undefeated this year, has won 6 tournaments. Everyone is talking about her as being the best player, and here she's gotten off to a very nervous start and is trailing 1-3 in the first set.
Premier service. Quinze 0.
Well, blustery conditions, as you can see. Tony has mentioned that. There's a good deep forehand, lots of topspin, and Graf is forced to slice that one, so it floats a little longer, a little deeper. It wasn't just long.
30-15.
Both young ladies have shown great poise throughout the 2 weeks because of Everett and Navratilova being in the other half. This was the matchup that everybody anticipated, and it's now here. young ladies, Tony, been very confident in their interviews. They both feel they have an opportunity to win this championship. And, of course, they're good friends. They're doubles partners. And you see another good forehand to the backhand, forcing Graf very wide on the backhand, and a good overhead from Sabatini.
And Fred, you're reading the paperwork. Chris Everett says, you know, I'm 32, Martina's 30, and these young people are getting tougher and tougher to play against. That gives the youngsters more confidence.
Out.
That's long.
Also.
Graf did a double take.
40-30.
Big point there, and Steffi Graf, as soon as that was long, yelled out at the baselines person and got the overrule call. Merit Stierheim, who was man behind the WTA, executive director.
So Graf holds, but Sabatini leads 3-2 first set.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Where Steffi Graf has started off rather nervously, and Gabriela Sabatini still has the break. 3-2 in the first set, and like now to welcome Betsy Nagelson to the commentary booth. And Betsy, you figured this may happen to Steffi, a nervous start.
Well, I thought so. She's got a lot of pressure on her. Of course, these two have played some very close matches. Everyone they've played has gone 3 sets except for one. Interesting to note the contrast with which these two girls walk around in between points. Steffi moves really quickly. She's all business out there, and Sabatini moves a little slower, a little more rhythmically.
Well, the door opens a little now for Steffi Graf to get back even on serve. Love 30.
You just sort of feel the rhythm now that Steffi's starting to get into. She started off awfully quick, maybe a little bit too quick, and made a few errors, and I think she now seems to be settling into her rhythm.
Gabriela now starting to make a few unforced errors, where the first 3 or 4 games it was all Steffi Graf's errors. Love 40, 3 break points. And there it is. Great slice backhand down the line to even things at 3 games all.
Beautiful player to watch, Gabriela Sabatini. She's so graceful and fluent.
Love 15. Graf makes a good forehand volley there. She volleys particularly well, Betsy.
She does, and she's starting to come in more and more also. You see, she takes advantage of the open court. She didn't try to do too much with that forehand. She's had the open court and pushed it deep into the corner.
Tough conditions to play this semi-final match in, 30-15. Overcast conditions here. Stade Roland Garros, and the top temperature of 19 degrees centigrade. And as we've mentioned, some pretty strong blustery winds.
Big first serve from Steffi Graf, and it's a shot she's worked on and improved as well. She started off her career with a huge forehand, and now she's added some other strengths.
And with that strong forehand, Steffi Graf, after a nervous start, takes the lead, 4 games to 3.
Mademoiselle Graf, man.
Paris, the city of lights. Stade Roland Garros, semi-finals day for the ladies. And it's Steffi
Un
Graf.
peu de silence, s'il vous
4
plaît.
games to 3 in the first set. Sabatini to serve. That's a better point, Betsy. That's the way Sabatini started off. She was the aggressor, and then the last few games she's been on the defensive, with Graf getting to be a little more accurate with the forehand. Bevy of photographers there.
Keep talking about Steffi Graf's powerful forehand, but it's important to play it. You have to take her wide sometimes to open up the court, and that's what Sabatini did very well in the first game of the match. She was very aggressive with that.
That's the end, I believe, where Steffi is hitting with the wind with that slice, and it's just carrying a little long. Betsy, that reminds me of about 4 or 5 years ago, the way Martina used to play Chris Evert. Slice that backhand into the net, make the volley. Great point.
Steffi making a few errors. She was really tested in quarterfinals when she played Helen Kalesi of Canada. In fact, Kalesi held a set point in the first set, but wasn't able to capitalize on it. 7-6, 6-2 for Graf.
Good tactics there, because I feel that Graf played that point to bring Sabatini in on that short one.
Exactly, and Sabatini is in, and she's there with a wide open court, but takes her eye off the ball, and she's not a natural volleyer. She doesn't really like to get into the net. She'll come in if she has to, and she's a good volley because she has good doubles results, but her natural instinct is to stay on the baseline, so it's a good tactic for Graf to try to bring her in.
These two are actually doubles partners, Betsy, I think.
That's right.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Well, an errant forehand there gives Steffi Graf a break point.
Égalité.
Chance for Graf to go up a break. They're on serve. Both girls have been broken in this set, and Fred, you mentioned the fact that they're doubles partners, and in fact, they're in the semifinals of the French Open to be played tomorrow.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Well, after being down a break point, Sabatini now stands at game point with a good deep shot into the backhand corner once more. Graf trying to run around it, couldn't control the forehand. Well, needed a couple of bites at the cherry, but Graf anticipated the first overhead, but couldn't cover the territory to get the second one. And it's game to
Mademoiselle
Sabatini,
Sabatini.
4-all.
4 jeux partout.
She moved in there for a rather easy lob, but Sabatini was on the offense that whole point. Puts that one away. Graf had a break point in that game, but Sabatini played well, hung on. 4-all in the first set.
Graf missed that forehand. She ran around a second serve. And I think that's a good tactic, though, early in the match to run around and go for the winner. Just let your opponent be aware of the fact.
Point from Steffi Graf. Again, she uses the whole court. She brought Sabatini into the net.
15-0.
The drop shot from Graf. Sabatini does a good job to get there, and good hands from Steffi. She elected to take that ball in the air and threw up an excellent lob. And then she, of course, makes the right move and comes in and into the open court.
That's a point that you folks at home should
0.
take to heart. Once that lob gets over your opponent's head, move into that net position, as Graf did in that first point. 30 love. Well, this is not the time to make errors and give your opponent an easy game. 4-all. Graf has not had to do a great deal to get to 40 love. The only double fault in the match so far. 40-15. And another missed forehand, and that allows Graf to take the lead 5 games to 4 the first set.
5G4. Ball neuf.
Welcome back to Stade Roland Garros, Nines Wide World of Sports.
Un peu de silence, s'il vous
Semi-finals,
plaît.
ladies singles, Steffi Graf leading 5-4 first set, Sabatini to serve.
$15-0.
Chair umpire there, Paulo Pereira.
Mentioned that these two girls play doubles together, and it'd be really interesting to see in the future, and if they continue to play together, what kind of psychological effects that'll have on each other, because these two women are young and they're going to be in women's tennis at the top for a while to come.
Steffi Graf trying to kick herself along there, Betsy. A couple of opportunities to put that volley away.
Exactly, and Sabatini electing to use some feel and some touch on the volley and just doesn't get it short enough. Steffi's too quick. She got to that one.
15-30. Looking for a big forehand here, I would think. And a double fault. The first serve was not a very strong one into the top of the tape. Second one a little nervous. So it's now 2 set points to Graf, the first set.
And one saved for Sabatini. Again, she set up early and hit a good forehand into Graf's forehand, opened up the court a bit. Still a set point for Steffi Graf.
A couple of tentative shots there, Betsy. I guess the pressure is there that Graf doesn't miss too many forehands as easy as that one.
She does make some errors on that forehand side. I remember watching her play Hanna Manlakova right here in the French Open last year, and that's the shot that fell apart, but that's also her strength.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Set point number 3. Good motion on the serve, Sabatini. Nice and smooth. Arches the back, reaches right up to the ball.
Égalité.
Steffi saying, well, I get to set point. When I get there, I don't do anything with the ball.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Sabatini with an advantage to take the set to 5 games all.
And that's what I thought she'd do again the point before. Run around it, clock that forehand. Now it's back to deuce. Sabatini has saved 3 set points.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
For the 4th time, set point.
You can bet she wants a second serve on this one.
Égalité.
Sabatini made sure to get that first serve, and she's really not doing much with it, but she's putting a lot of spin. It's clearing the net very high. She knows that if she gives Graf a look at a second serve, that Steffi's going to try to run around and hit her big forehand.
Back to deuce. And the forehand was called wide. Some of the folks in the crowd don't like it. A very close one. You can hear the whistles. But definitely wide. Set point.
For the 5th time.
Well, that's the first rally that Steffi Graf has got into on set point, and she won it. So Graf takes the first set 6 games to 4. And Betsy, a rather long and pretty nervous the way Steffi played those set points there.
Well, it really was. She didn't start the match off very confidently either. I think she got into her rhythm midway through the set. And she hasn't lost a match in 37 matches. I'm just wondering when she'll start to feel some pressure. She obviously feels some now. This is such a huge event for her. She's not won a Grand Slam tournament. She's being touted from the press and the players as being future #1. She's #2 in the world right now and on the threshold of being #1. Everyone is waiting for her, though, to win that first Grand Slam event.
I think the impact, though, that these 2 young ladies have made on the women's game has just been fantastic, because we've seen Chris and Martina for so many years, and now this looks like the future generation, and there's no doubt about it. Even talking to Chris and Martina, they relish the fact. I think it's going to keep them in the game, just gives them an extra challenge.
I think you're exactly right, Fred. I think the fact that both Steffi and Gabriela and Hannah, as we watch. Nice forehand from Steffi. Watch the girls slide, and I watch how she moves in, takes it early before it bounces up too high, really leans into it. But these girls have really challenged Martina and Chris and made them work harder and given them something to shoot for. That is to stay on top.
Yes, let's not forget Hanna Mandlikova, who's always done so very well here at the French Championships. She played a bad match against Natalie Harriman, one of the young French girls here, and lost early in the tournament. But she's loads of experience and talent, and of course she'll be back again. So women's tennis at the moment just getting stronger and stronger. There it is, game to Graf as he moves to the net. She leads 1-0 second set. '87 French Open Championships. Gabriela Sabatini, your picture there, down a set and 1-0. Started off in the match with an early service break, leading 3-1 the first set, but Graf found the range on the forehand. Sabatini to serve.
Even though Graf missed that forehand, she's really one of the only women in tennis, maybe Martina Navratilova, but that has the strength in the wrist to be able to hit it that hard from a high position like that. She hits down and through the ball so well.
Well, Sabatini's got to do more on that serve. Betsy started off the match serving quite well, but the first serve seems to have left her, and that second serve, Graf has time to get around and hammer away on that forehand. 15 all. I'm a firm believer that if you serve well, the rest of your game hangs together. Gabriela Sabatini having all sorts of trouble on the first serve at the moment.
Her serve is not, never has been one of her strengths. Although I think she's putting in a lot of work on it. She's trying to hit it harder, first serve. A good natural mover, Gabriela Sabatini. She takes off for this one early, slides well into it. Steffi with a rare backhand passing error.
Steffi got the shot she wanted. She played that point to bring Sabatini into the net to get the passing shot, but missed it, so it's game point for Sabatini. I can remember seeing Sabatini at the Orange Bowl the first time about 4 years ago. And right from that stage, she had all the strokes. But at that stage, couldn't quite put them together. All the talent in the world. Now, she's way up with the best of them.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
So again, an advantage to Sabatini.
Packed house here today.
Égalité. Avantage, Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Steffi going for a big forehand. She's certainly not afraid to go for it. Sabatini desperately needs to win this game because she doesn't want to give Graf a 2-love lead in the second set, leading with the set.
And a good deep backhand wins the game for Sabatini after a struggle, and it's 1 game all second set. For the first time today, the sun has just crept through, so maybe a good omen for the rest of the afternoon. I saw these two play in the finals of the Italian, Betsy. Graf looked as though she had it all taken care of in the second set. 4-all, and then about 4 or 5 errors. Just like that, and Sabatini won that set 6-4, but was so tired, just couldn't carry on the third set.
Exactly, Fred. I think Graf will make some errors because she does go for the shot. She tries to hit winners. And I think Sabatini has to put a lot of effort into her shots and will get fatigued by the end of a long match.
That's the second double fault from Steffi Graf, and that puts her down love 40 with 3 break opportunities now for Sabatini. And it's wide, so Sabatini breaks serve, takes the lead, 2 games to 1, having lost the first set. Roland Garros. Spectators coming here for ladies semi-finals day. Gabriela Sabatini just achieved a break of serve, and I'd like to welcome back Tony Trabert. Tony, you've been watching that. Your views on that first set?
Well, I think Steffi was a little nervous. I think sometimes her preparation on the forehand side is late, and that's what creates some of those errors. She's definitely not played a good match according to her standards. But Sabatini has not done a whole lot to hurt her. In fairness, Fred, I heard you mention earlier, and we've talked about it before, it is gusty, it's blustery out there, and it's tough to control the ball and have the precision that the players are accustomed to. And it's not a wind that's blowing just straight in one direction. It's really changing directions and blowing quite hard at times.
And this is the first match we've shown the folks at home, and the centre court here at the Roland Garros is the biggest centre court of the Grand Slam tournaments. You missed it. So you get a little bit of a different perspective down there, Tony, as you would on a normal Virginia Slims Tour event. Good sliding backhand there, and Sabatini makes a great volley off the shoelaces, but just wide. 15-30. Chance to get back. I think both young ladies, Tony, have had lapses of concentration, and I guess at that age, 17, and to be where they are on the world rankings, that's only natural. Well, that was a good lob there from Steffi Graf, because she threw it up into the wind. And so she breaks serve now. Gets it to 2-all.
Fred, back to what you said a moment ago, both these kids are trying so darn hard. You know, it'll be the first time for either one to get in the final, single final of a Grand Slam. And they want it so badly, and I guess it's just tough to pull the trigger. You know, really be loose and relaxed.
15-0.
You don't normally see Graf miss that underspin backhand as often as she has today. It's sort of her safety valve, but she's made an awful lot of errors on that side. You still don't get the feeling she's in much trouble, though, do you, Fred?
No, as you mentioned, Sabatini hasn't really taken it to her. She did early in the first set, but since then she's been pretty much on the defensive. That was a better rally. That's more like the tennis we expected during this match.
It's interesting to me how often when players get in a long rally, the person that finally tries to change something is normally the one that misses. They get out of that pattern. They find, hey, I can't do this any longer, but try something else. I'll fire one down the line or try a drop shot. Steffi seems to have changed her plan a little bit here. Fiery, I think she's just sort of keeping the ball in play herself. She's not taking many chances at all.
I like the tactics that she's used to try and bring Gabriela up to the net on most occasions, and that's paid dividends for her. She's only lost 1 or 2 of those points.
There's the late preparation I was talking about on her forehand, and she has a snap at it.
She's pretty much looking for that return down the backhand side. She doesn't find too many of the girls return over to the favourite forehand.
The other thing, when Steffi invites Sabatini into the net, she doesn't overplay the passing shot because she knows that Sabatini's not a great volleyer, so she's been careful with it, and it's worked well. Oh, and she missed the sitter. And Graf leads 3-2, second set. Steffi Graf trying to move into the finals of the French Open 1987. Sabatini to serve at 2-3 second set. Graf's won the first set 6-4.
This, of course, a Grand Slam tournament on clay. Few folks realise that the French was the last tournament to become a Grand Slam event. The first one was Wimbledon, followed by the US, and then the Australian Melbourne Cricket Ground, or Warehouseman's Cricket Ground in Melbourne in 1905 was the Australian joined the Grand Prix, or the Grand Slam events. Between 1891 and 1924, the French titles were only open to amateurs or club players here in France. It wasn't until 1925 that entry was opened up to outsiders. A little bit of trivia for you.
So it's 30-15 in this particular game, 2-3. Of course, the winner of this will play the winner of the next match that we'll be bringing to you between Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova that follows this one, so I know you want to stay with us. Long, hard point, and Fred, I think Sabatini's starting to get a little weary.
Sigh of relief after this point, where she's brought into the net again, feels she has to go in on that short ball, and again, Graf taking her time with the passing shot, but Sabatini on top of that one, and she says, my, that's good. I've made a forehand volley at last. Put one away for a winner. 40-15.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Both games are 3-all. Overcast, blustery day. The weather here during the championships has been really less than ideal, though from a player's standpoint, it's been cool, which hasn't been bad for them.
It's been good for our producer, Mike Williams. He's been back and forth to London, feels right at home in this lousy weather.
Net. Premier service.
Fred, how old were you when you played in a major stadium like this the first time?
About 22.
Were you nervous?
Very nervous.
Yeah.
I played my first match here in the French Championships. Was on centre court.
These kids are 17. And
They don't know what nerves are at 17.
They walk out there like it's just another stroll in the park.
That's right.
I mean, I played Wimbledon the first time here at 19, and I was scared to death. .40-15. Well-placed ball that time by Gabriela.
They had temporary stands when you played here, though, didn't they?
Wasn't that long ago.
No, that's right. The Musketeers were before you. That's right. So.
Just.
Good deep backhand slice again from Sabatini. And I'm sorry about that, Tony. I know you'll get even, though.
Talking about the Musketeers, of course, maybe some of our viewers don't know that the four Musketeers were four French tennis players that were just absolutely outstanding in the 20s. Two are still remaining, still living, René Lacoste and Jean Barotra. Henri Cochet passed away a month, 6 weeks ago, and Toto Brugnon several years ago.
Again, that little short drop shot has paid dividends for Steffi Graf today.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
On most occasions, when you see Sabatini get to it, she's just not able to do anything with it. She gets there a little bit late. That ball's low. Now her court's wide open.
You could see a change grip on that forehand, so Steffi knew she was going to try and do something with it, not just push it back.
Égalité.
Steffi thought that earlier shot was wide on the sideline. It's interesting, Fred, to me that you take a guy like Graf, she's developed a driving topspin type backhand similar to her forehand, but now she's reverted almost exclusively to the slice because it's tight, the match is close. Revert to what they think is safe. Big opportunity here for Gabriela Sabatini.
You were talking about the slice backhand, Tony, and the slice backhand passing shot, of course, is not very effective, and that forehand volley is the first one that Sabatini's been able to take advantage of.
Égalité.
There was a wild attempt at a return by that young lady, so it's a break point lost. It's deuce. In case you join us late, Graf won the first set 6-4. It is 3-all and deuce.
Well, I haven't mentioned the fact that this is the 7th game.
Another break point for Sabatini.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
That's Steffi talking to herself.
Égalité.
Excellent.
I love that shot. She bends the right knee on that one, gets the shoulder round, and
Avantage, Mademoiselle
that's been the
Sabatini.
most successful shot for her today. It was a good one in the early stages of the first set. Look at that, round and hits up and through the ball.
Another break point. It's out. Sabatini gets a break and leads 4-3, second set. Argentina's Gabriela Sabatini, the 7th seed in the 1987 French Open, has a break and is serving at 4-3 in the second set. Graf has won the first set 6-4.
It's incredible to think that this is only Sabatini's 7th Grand Slam tournament in a career. It's a 3rd visit here to Roland Garros, though. 2nd year in the semi-finals. Pretty impressive record.
Ooh.
That's the one that you were talking about, that deep one that sort of skids, gets behind her a little bit, and she's got to hook it up in the air.
Yeah, she doesn't really get the racket back real early on those deep ones. Then she has to snap at it. And if you doesn't catch it just right, it can go for a big ride. Good disguise.
30-15.
And it's Sabatini that tries to play the short ball here. Graf gets to it. Sabatini moving for that one, but I don't think she runs up and back as well as she runs from side to side.
I couldn't agree more. But again, good disguise by Graf, and by the time she got off the starting blocks, it was too late. Perfect. Got to give that young lady credit. She's going after her shots.
There's 2 shots that have been successful for this young lady thus far today. One is the backhand down the line. She sliced that one. And the other one is the forehand, the off forehand, this one here, that she hits deep into the backhand corner. If she's to win that match, she's got to be patient and wait until she gets a chance to play either one of those strokes.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
So Sabatini moves out to a 5-3 lead in the second set. Another wild forehand by Steffi Graf. So Graf's back is against the wall in this set, serving at 3-5. Playing 1 hour and 17 minutes. Following this match, don't forget Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova. So we've got more terrific tennis coming your way.
Pretty much a carbon copy of their Italian final, Tony, as I was saying to Betsy Nagelson. Steffi looked as though she had this under control. Suddenly loses 5 or 6 points and right now in trouble.
If that hit the line, it must hit the outside half of it. Gabriela must agree. Didn't say anything. She went to take a look at the mark. 15 all.
Sabatini, if this goes to 3 sets, she's played 7 3-set matches this year, and she's won but 3 of them. So gets a little weary in the 3rd set. She's been working on her stamina, doing quite a bit of running, stomach exercises.
J'ai 40-15.
They certainly let you know it here if you make a mistake in that umpire's chair. Very learned crowd here, Roland Garros, and whistles and hoots if you make an error up there.
So Graf hangs on, and when we come back, Sabatini will be serving for the 2nd set. And welcome back to the center court at Roland Garros. 1987 French Open on 9's Wide World of Sports. Gabriela Sabatini serving at 5-4, trying to level this match at 1 set apiece. Fred, it seems to me that Graf's shots are flying some, and I just wonder whether she'd be smart to go to a little tighter racket to kill some of that liveliness.
Possibly would help as we see the ominous skies above the staid Roland Garros here. I think the wind has dropped here a little also, Tony, as the clouds come overhead. And it's tough for the girls to get into any type of rhythm at the moment, I feel.
Chris Everett was quoted as saying that this is a tough place to play because the conditions vary so much. Great backhand, the one you mentioned, Fred, in this triple set point for Sabatini.
I think that has a great surprise element to it as far as Graf is concerned, because she hits this as well as any backhand. Waits for the right shot, and Graf looking for that one to go back to the backhand side, just no chance to get there.
Return winner. So it's still 2 set points for Sabatini. This is when the good players add some pressure, add some pace to their shots. Graf thinks it was out. It goes down as 2nd set. 1 hour and 23 minutes of play. So each player has won a set 6-4.
That was incredible because that serve, as Sabatini hit the serve, Graf played it, but then took a look at the linesperson to no avail as the chair umpire Paolo Pereira calls the score. It doesn't come back after the score's been called, so it's one set apiece. Roland Garros scoreboard there, 1 hour and 24 minutes old, this match.
But I would expect to see Steffi Graf try to pick up the tempo a little bit. Started this third set. Try to regain the control of the match.
I think both girls in the first 2 or 3 games here have got to try and dominate. They've got to try and take over.
Awful lot of unforced errors from the number 2 seed, Steffi Graf. Sabatini hesitated. Hit the ball on the backhand side and hesitated just long enough. Right now she has to make a low volley, a stretching volley. Graf wisely takes it in the air before she can recover and blocks it down the line.
Good move by Graf there. Come forward on that shot.
Steffi Graf wins the first game of the final set. A view from the outside looking in of the center court at Stade Roland Garros in Paris. Steffi Graf, the number 2 seed, has held serve, so Gabriela Sabatini will be serving at love 1 in the final set, and joining me in the booth is Betsy Nagelson. Betsy, Steffi Graf's made an awful lot of unforced errors in this match. Really has kept her in trouble.
She has Tony, and Sabatini, on the other hand, is starting to dictate a few more points, starting to be a little bit more aggressive again. Good whipping backhand from Sabatini that makes Graf have to dip down for it.
Yeah, Graf is flat nervous right now, in my opinion. She's just not going after that ball at all.
Not at all. I mean, this is a bad error from Graf. She sort of pushes this one deep and wide, and that's a tentative shot.
30 love.
She has really shown a lot of impatience, in my opinion. She's trying to go for her shots, but she's making way too many errors.
Actually, I was suggesting to Fred earlier that maybe Graf's racket seems a little loose to me. Her balls seem to be flying, and that would be a time if she had one to go to a racket that's more tightly strung, because it kills some of the trampoline effect, the slingshot effect off your racket. Steffi's shot there was very, very short.
Gabriela just gave her that point. She still has a 40-15 lead in this second game of the third set. That time Graf forced the error from Sabatini. She kept the ball deep, kept it in play, didn't try to do too much. Sabatini tried to hit a tough shot. She's been able to dictate a number of points in a row, Sabatini.
Here's where a confident Steffi Graf steps around and really hits a forehand hard. Let's see what she tries here. Steffi Graf is claiming the ball is out. The linesperson coming out to take a look at the mark.
Mademoiselle Sabatini.
So the linesperson says it was in fact on the line. They make it 1-all, and Graf is going to make an appeal. Let's hear what she says.
Did you see that? I mean, she was touching it.
I got to give her credit. You know, she thinks she's been wrong. She thinks she got a bad call. She went up as a lady, as a sports person, asked the umpire a question in a decent tone, took the answer, and now she's coming back out to play. I wish every tennis player could do it that way. 1-all, final set.
I think now we'll see what Steffi Graf is made of. How will she react now? It's 1-all in the third set. She's playing a player she's never lost to, and she's in the semifinals of a Grand Slam.
Looked like the wind might have taken that one a little bit.
She moves forward to try to take it on the top of its bounce, moves in. Can't tell, but certainly the wind moved it around a bit. You can see the flags really moving in the wind.
See the way she had to back up quickly at the last moment, that it was blown away from her a little bit. 30-15. We're looking at two of the youngsters that we'll be watching for the next 10 or 15 years, barring injury.
Again, some impatience from Steffi Graf.
Yeah, a shot like that, she wasn't really trying to do that much, and she just missed a lot of those slice backhands that I think she normally feels she can just keep in play and move the opponent around some.
You really get the feeling she's in a big hurry out there. She's really trying to just end this match, and it's not being productive for her.
And a break point for Sabatini. That young lady definitely feeling the pressure. I mentioned at the opening of the show, she had a lot of pressure on her shoulders. Some umbrellas are coming up in the stands. The raincoats are coming on. It must be drizzling a little bit. Gone from a drizzle to an absolute downpour. Players are appealing to the umpire, saying they're going to call this thing. He has to wait to get the message from the referee. Both players are walking up. Umpire is saying, just wait a second, and Graf says, we can't possibly play in this. The umpire has still not announced that there will be an official delay, but both players have their jackets on, their gear, and are starting for the locker room.
Le jeu suspense.
Now he's announced that play is suspended, and it is 1-all in deuce in the third and final set. So to recap for you, in the first set, Steffi Graf won 6-4. Sabatini came back to win the second 6-4, and we're 1-all in deuce. And Betsy, just your overview of the match thus far.
Well, I feel as though both players have had their ups and downs. I think Steffi started off a little bit nervous, a little bit impatient, calmed herself, was able to take the first set. And I find her in that same situation right now. I have a feeling this rain delay is going to help Steffi, because she's going to... One little girl got lost under the covers here, but she's going to have a chance to calm herself down and to take some time to think about the situation. Hopefully she can isolate this match and keep it away from the occasion.
Okay, and Fred, a good point. Steffi really struggling, making a lot of errors. Do you think this delay will help her? Is it a plus for her, or is it a plus for Sabatini?
I think it's a plus for Steffi Graf. Had that one hit the tape and gone over, and Sabatini had the break, I think this match may have taken a different twist. However, I think for Steffi Graf to get out of this match now, Tony, I think she's got to come up with a few topspin backhands rather than just slicing everything at the moment. And at this stage, Sabatini is a more complete player than Graf.
Okay, so once again, the situation, Steffi Graf won the first set 6-4. Sabatini came back to win the second 6-4. It is 1-all in deuce. When the rains have come, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. World of sports to Roland Garros, the 1987 French Open Tennis Championships. As you can see, the sun has come out. The players are back on court and have approximately 1 minute left of their warm-up after a 1 hour and 12-minute rain delay. The court was successfully covered, swept the rain off the cover, and took the tarpaulins off. And after a little extra work, we're just about ready to go. And to recap the situation, Steffi Graf, the number 2 seed, won the first set from Gabriela Sabatini, who is seeded number 7 here, 6-4. Sabatini came back and won the second set 6-4. And the score is 1-all in deuce. And this, of course, is semifinal action. The winner of this match advances obviously to the finals, and we'll play the winner of the match coming up next. There's the scoreboard between Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova. So we have lots of good tennis for you. Betsy, we talked about this before we went off the air. What do you think about the psychology of what's happened now? Who do you think this helped the most, this delay?
Well, Tony, I think it probably had to help Steffi Graf the most. Sabatini took the second set 6-4, was on a little bit of a roll, and Steffi was starting to show some impatience and just a little bit of tentativeness. I think the pressure that we've been talking about is starting to take a little bit of a toll. I think this hour and 12 minutes, she had time maybe hopefully to regroup, to calm herself, come back out with a game plan.
40 au service, Mademoiselle Graf.
So Paulo Pereira, the umpire, has announced that it'll be 1-all in deuce. Graf to serve. Well, both players obviously go in. They probably shower, change clothes, have a chance to talk to their coaches. And I think it's safe to say that Graf was favored in this match, and yet it's been a struggle. As you said, she's been very shaky, particularly late in the second set and early in this third set. So I would agree that this has helped her. Of course, time will tell. They used old balls for the warm-up, and now they're getting the balls back that were in play when rain suspended play.
Un peu de silence, s'il vous plaît. Le jeu reprend. S'il vous plaît.
The natives are somewhat restless, and I'm not exactly sure why. They're doing a little chanting up in the unreserved section.
Silence, s'il vous plaît. Le jeu reprend. S'il vous plaît.
1-all in deuce, final set.
Silence, s'il vous plaît.
And Steffi just holding on because she needs
S'il vous plaît.
she needs quiet. She needs to
Courtoisie.
gain her concentration and composure. Meanwhile, she steps across and takes another practice serve just to keep loose.
Release a little tension, too. Here we go. It's not an easy second serve to get in under the circumstances.
Avantage, Sabatini.
And break point for Sabatini. It's out. Sabatini breaks and leads 2-1 in the final set. Argentina's Gabriela Sabatini has a service break. Apparently has the support of this French crowd as she comes out to serve at 2-1 in the final set. That's the situation.
15-0.
Steffi continuing to make a couple of unforced errors. Sabatini looking very calm and composed.
Great shot. Terrific point.
Steffi Graf has both speed of foot and strength. She is really strong. That ball was almost behind her, and she was able to get around it and whip that forehand for a winner. Big point. 15 all.
Graf not getting very good depth on her shots. She's won what, Betsy? 37 matches in a row? 6 tournaments?
That's right. 6 tournaments. She hasn't lost a match this year. 37 matches in a row. And both Chris and Martine are talking how she's, as of right now, the #1 player of the year, even though on our computer she is not #1, she's #2. Graf coming in, which is a tactic I think she should use more of. Make Sabatini come up with a passing shot. Sabatini just floated that backhand, sliced it.
30 all. Double fault. That is her second of the match and gives Graf a break point. Gives Graf a chance to get even at 2 all in this final set. Well, we've been talking about the Graf forehand, Betsy. The Sabatini forehand is an awfully big weapon also.
Well, it sure is. She hits it a little bit differently. She sweeps up the back of the ball a little bit more. But look how early she takes it and she swings through the ball. Gets a lot of topspin.
She got that one nice and deep, too. So it's deuce.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf still gives that air of confidence, though. Just watch her move around, you watch her play, and it doesn't really look like she's tentative or like she doesn't believe she's going to win this match, although she's made a lot of unforced errors.
Another break point for Graf.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf has gotten her service break back and is leveled at 2 all in the final set.
Sabatini continuing to dictate the rhythm with which this match is being played in. Sabatini really taking her time between points.
Lovely shot.
0-15.
As you mentioned earlier, graceful player. We'll take another look. Watch how Sabatini glides over. Early preparation. The good topspin rolls it to the angles. We come back to live action. 15 all. Those were forehands that Steffi was missing before the rain delay.
Toronto.
30 off. Now break point for Sabatini.
Steffi finding it really difficult to string a couple of points in a row.
I'd call that a bad error because she wasn't trying to do that much, just get it over onto the forehand side. We were talking earlier about the fact that we think Sabatini gets tired sometimes in 3-set matches, but with that hour and 12-minute delay, that gave her a chance to rest, so the physical aspect should not be really a big part of it.
Sabatini.
Another good point from Sabatini. She sets this one up very well. Moves in. Got that volley. Let that volley get a little bit low, but she gets away with it. Steffi trying on the run to hit a passing forehand. Got the top of the net.
Another break point.
Second one in this game for Sabatini.
Nicely played by Graf. Didn't rush it, didn't overplay it.
Get a good look at the way Steffi takes her time here. Sabatini comes in with a slice backhand, and Steffi just steps forward and hits right through the path of the ball. Back to deuce.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf has the advantage. And lady's not really what you'd call ugly, is she? She gets a lot of endorsements, and rightfully so. That's long, so Graf, after a struggle, now leads 3-2 in the final set. Welcome back to Nine's Wide World of Sports, and also welcome to Fred Stolle, who's rejoined us in the commentary booth. Fred, still things look a little shaky, don't they?
Yes, I think Gabriela Sabatini has had a number of opportunities to get out in front in this match. I think Steffi Graf, when she came back, was rather nervous because the crowd noise before they started. She was a little irritated with that, so that shows you she was a little uptight. The shoulders sort of seem to be up around her neck a little bit, and everything seems to be not the way she would be satisfied.
You get the feeling that Graf is trying to pick up the tempo a little bit. He is going after the forehand a little bit more than she did before the rain delay. That's awfully well done.
I think mentally, Tony, Steffi Graf was a little tougher than Gabriela Sabatini, and that may tell towards the end of this match. Good approach shot, and look at this volley. Couldn't be better. But Steffi Graf, I think, came out. Both players are pretty nervous. They haven't served particularly well on their service game.
What a point that was. And if you want to see some depth, watch the depth that Sabatini gets here. And that's hardly fair, Fred.
Well, that was a great rally from both players, and a good approach shot by Gabriela Sabatini deep into that corner. But Steffi Graf, champion that she is, took a couple of steps backwards, waited for the ball to get to her, and then drove it cross court. Great shot.
And normally when you get the ball that deep, you're in pretty good shape if you're in a good volleying position. .1530.
Again, not a bad play there. It was an error on the forehand side, but it lets Gabriela Sabatini know that on a second serve, her opponent is going to be aggressive. Watching these two players, though, Tony, Sabatini, to me, looks to be the more complete player. She has the more variety of shot, but just is making a few more errors under the pressure of this third set.
I'd agree, Fred. This is a break point now for Graf. Awfully good shot there by Gabriela.
Steffi Graf upset that that one came off the line. We see some of the Parisian fashions. They like to get dressed up to come to the tennis here in Paris.
Graf sort of slammed that ball trying to hit the net and just barely missed it and almost picked off the ball girl.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Sabatini.
Fred, again, I think that one of the things that has impressed me about that young lady Sabatini is that she has gotten out of that flailing syndrome. The strokes are pure now, they're cleaner, the preparation is shorter, the follow-through is a little cleaner, and threw the ball better, and I think it's really helped her a lot.
A lot more compact than it was 12 months ago.
And it saves a lot of physical energy too, the nice clean strokes.
Égalité. Avantage, Mademoiselle Sabatini. Égalité.
Late preparation
Mademoiselle
again.
Sabatini.
As Betsy mentioned, Steffi Graf makes a few of those errors off the forehand side. That's the side that she does try and hit the winners from.
It's out. Great defensive play that time by Sabatini, anticipating the two smashes by Graf.
J. Mademoiselle Sabatini. 3 jeux partout.
I think you could say that Sabatini was the crowd favorite here, Tony. I think Steffi Graf has had a lot of publicity this week in the paper. As you have a look at the beautiful motion on the serve of Gabriela Sabatini. And she's played an extremely good match up to this point today.
3-all final set. And in case you're looking ahead, there will be no tie break in the final set. Played to its conclusion.
That's the stroke in my mind that has let Steffi Graf down today, the sliced backhand. She hasn't attempted to come over the ball very much at all, except on the passing shot. And Gabriela Sabatini's been able to mix her ground strokes up, particularly off that backhand side, with the slice and the big topspin one down the line. That mental toughness, that's what this is going to get down to. Good motion on the serve, good body weight out and into the ball.
Little hitch that time, wasn't there? We're back to regular action now. Slice backhand again. As I said, when this young lady came back after the break, I thought she was tight, not relaxed around the shoulders, and looked nervous. Big point here. I think that ball must hit right on the baseline, and it's a break point. And a big one it is for Sabatini. Your favorite 7th game, Fiery.
Yes, and what an important one it is. And remember, the first point of this match was a net cord, and it went to Gabriela Sabatini, and it may have been an omen there. A little bit of luck. She's hit the line 3 or 4 times on big points throughout this match.
Sabatini gets her break and leads 4-3 in the final set. Some of the interested spectators in Stade Roland Garros, lovely city of Paris, enjoying this women's semifinal match, and we hope you're enjoying it on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Sabatini, 2 games away from moving into the finals. But that can be a long 2 games, serving at 4-3 with a break.
That one's floated wide. You can see just a little bit of tension there on both sides of the court. The wind sort of took that one out. Match in Rome, in the final in Rome a couple of weeks ago, was a great match for 2 sets, and then the young lady in your picture there got very weary in the 3rd set and lost at 6-love. But she's had a rain delay here of 1 hour and 10 minutes, and Tony's mentioned that fact that wide stretch to the backhand there, but physical capabilities or tiredness should not come into this match now. Both girls have had that break. 15 all.
Seems to me that Graf is playing awfully deep to return Sabatini's serve, which is not a real big weapon. Sabatini was there. As you mentioned, Fred, mental toughness is part of this. Have another look at this in Fiery.
Good volley there and a good stretch on this forehand, but she should have put it away, and Steffi Graf angles it back, and Sabatini's on it. But shows her displeasure there. Big point for her. 15-30 opens the door for Graf a little.
Well, let's see if Graf steps around, tries to pounce on a forehand.
And there's Sabatini saying, yes, come on, let's go. That's the one that's been the shot of the day for her. Don't forget, Sabatini has never beaten Steffi Graf. 6-0 to Graf, but they've had some pretty good 3-set matches.
Correction. Ball's good.
Steffi doesn't realize it. The correction has been called.
Well, she's fortunate. I mean, Sabatini got the ball back anyway. So they're going to play a let. She really hadn't lost anything. It was initially called out. The umpire overruled it. Four-3 and deuce. Final set. Sabatini 1 point away from going out to a 5-3 lead in this final set. Tremendous pressure when you think about it, Fred. Two 17-year-old young ladies out in a Grand Slam. One of them going to get to the finals and be very elated. The other one very disappointed.
They are good friends and doubles partners, but both realize the importance of this. Basically the clay court championship of the world, the French Open.
Neither had been in a final of a Grand Slam.
It's only Sabatini's 3rd year at Roland Garros. Well, that takes a bit of guts because she's going in there on not a good approach shot, but it's going into the forehand wing of Steffi Graf, and that's the power shot. So the pressure is mounting. She missed that one. Not a difficult one, that one for Graf.
Earlier, Betsy made a good comment, too. Last year, Hanna Mandakova really exploited Graf's forehand and broke it down, and she got a lot of errors from it.
That's the shot that I've liked from Sabatini, that off forehand into the backhand corner, and 5 games to 3 now. It comes down to nail-biting time.
She came out with a little vamos, let's go. She realized she'd hit a winner. Now you're going to see what both these people are made of. Everybody's talked about how tough, mentally tough Graf is. Going to have a chance to display it here now. 3-5.
15-0.
Well, it looked like Graf made a tactical error by not getting in after she got the lob over Sabatini's head, but she ended up winning the point anyway. 30-15.
Great point. She played the drop shot and then the lob, but then hangs back on this one, and would have been an easy volley had she been in there, but she hits the forehand for a winner. That's the favorite shot. 30-15. Well, we've seen a couple of whippy forehands the last couple of points, and maybe Gabriela Sabatini is getting to the point where she thinks she may win this match.
Graf holds serve, and when we come back, Gabriela Sabatini will be serving for the match. A huge moment for Gabriela Sabatini, and you're seeing it on 9's Wide World of Sports. Also a very huge moment for that young lady, Steffi Graf, as Sabatini is serving at 5-4 in the 3rd set, has a chance to get into the finals of her first Grand Slam tournament. First time into the final.
Another line ball.
15-0.
3 points away from victory.
A weak second serve and a courageous attempt by Graf. That's hard to do, Fred. Go out there and swing at it like that under these circumstances.
It's also pretty tough for Gabriela to serve this out. Be the first Grand Slam final for either girl, young lady. Well, you saw during that rally Steffi Graf come over a backhand, and I think that's been the problem throughout this match, mostly slice backhands. In this particular set, she's only come over the top of 3 backhands. And Gabriela Sabatini has exploited that shot to perfection so far. 15-30.
Break points for Graf, who has been aggressive this game.
15-40.
Good approach here and not a good reply. That one is a pretty easy put away for Steffi Graf. She hasn't been to the net too many times, but that one was a good volley.
Perfect. And Steffi Graf levels at 5-all.
With a topspin backhand that hit right on the line. She hasn't hit too many line balls, and Gabriela Sabatini has found that line on some big points, but that is one of the few topspin backhands, and it paid right on the line, so it's all back even at 5-all. Now everybody's getting nervous.
And just a reminder, there is no tiebreak in this final set.
Out. 15-0.
Somewhat of a delayed call on the baseline. Number 3 in the double fault department.
Little hitch in that serve that you alluded to, Tony.
Get the toss too high and you got to wait for it to come back down where you can reach it. Sabatini taking a little extra walk. She was winded after that tough point. It's 15-30. Red, I detect a little weariness at this moment in the legs of Sabatini. Perhaps partially it's frustration and disappointment at not being able to put the match away.
Well, she certainly must feel that she's had opportunities right from the start of this third set, Tony, to get her first victory over Steffi Graf, and a little disappointment, but she's still well in this match yet. But he is taking a little more time between points. But Steffi, on the other hand, she likes to get on with the job, so maybe it's just a tactic to try and slow her down, get Steffi Graf out of a rhythm.
I'm frankly surprised that Graf has not been a little more aggressive in going to the net. She's had a lot of opportunities on short balls, and she's elected to just hit it and back up a little bit. 40-30.
Well, she volleys well, Tony, but she's not comfortable up in that position. And you know, when it gets this tight, you go back to what's worked best for you. She's not going to go and serve and volley too much at this stage, I wouldn't think.
A surprise tactic by Sabatini pays off. A gutsy play.
That was a tough half volley she hit on that one, too. Look at this. Black just lifts up and goes for that one and moves in on this forehand volley. Really executes it well because it was a sliced backhand down the line, got up a little high, so she shoulder height, good volley.
Long.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Graf.
I think this is a great match for two 17-year-olds under the intense pressure that they are both under. This young an age to be out there.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Graf holds. And when we come back, Sabatini will be serving at 5-6. The weight of the world must be on that young lady's shoulders. Gabriela Sabatini led 5-3 in this set, third and final set of the semifinal match. She's now serving at 5-6 with new balls.
On the changeover, Tony, interestingly enough, she changed rackets. She's got one right throughout the match and then just went into tennis bag and has changed rackets. Maybe this is a tighter racket that will give her a little more zip on the serve.
Fred, you got new balls here. They have to be more lively. You've got to be a little more careful, don't you? You've got to cover the ball and get a little more topspin on it. They fly a little bit.
They do, and certainly on a day like today. Pretty humid down there now after the rain.
Kansas. 15-30.
Footwork.
Little
for
tired
that
swing there on
forehand,
it.
tired swing, and wasn't to the ball, wasn't quite there. So Gabby Sabatini certainly thinking about that 5-4 service game. 15-30.
And it's 2 match points for Steffi Graf.
Un peu de silence, s'il vous plaît.
In 2 hours and 25 minutes of actual play, Steffi Graf has advanced to the finals of the 1987 French Open Championships. A tremendous struggle in overcoming Gabriela Sabatini. And Betsy, kind of a match you just sort of hate to see anyone lose.
Exactly. Well fought and well played by both players, especially Gabriela Sabatini. I thought she did a great job of making Graf work as hard as she could work. And in the end, Graf was a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more experienced, and it paid off.
And Fred, you talked throughout the match about mental toughness.
I think that's what did it finally, and a strange move by Gabriela Sabatini to go out in that last game with a different tennis racket. She hit 3 balls into the net, 3 pretty easy forehands, and Steffi Graf, I think, was lucky to get out of that one, and I think Gabriela Sabatini will learn a lot from that experience, but a tough way to finish it.
So the number 2 seed, Steffi Graf, has advanced to the finals with a 6-4, 4-6, 7-5 victory over number 7 seeded Gabriela Sabatini.